Hey everyone, and welcome to a short showcase of Hetherlum's standout MMO games of 2017. Let's begin right away with one actually released in 2017 for the Western crowd. Critic Online is one of the faster-paced dungeon crawlers available. Last year, I hadn't played the game nearly enough to know yet if it deserves a spot on my top list. That has changed. I can safely say that it has been extremely enjoyable for me. The game includes a high progression ceiling and a random dungeon feature, where it takes sections from random dungeons in the game and builds you a dungeon to play in that way. That feature has a separate progression system which I haven't quite yet reached the end of, but I'm definitely trying to climb in it. While it is fast-paced, this particular dungeon crawler is an action hotkey hybrid with a focus on hotkeys, which in my opinion makes the game more interesting than pure action games tend to be. That's unfortunately the only top-placed worthy MMO I played which actually released in 2017. Let's move on to MMOs that I played in 2017 which stood out to me from previous years. First game should be MapleStory. MapleStory is a brilliant game with an active development cycle, so it gets more content on a regular basis. There are an incredible amount of different characters to play who all play differently from each other. They not only have different abilities but often come with different playstyles that you need to use. In addition to gameplay, each character comes with their own storyline, so if you are into MMO stories, you will find a lot of it in MapleStory, with new additions all the time. There is also a reboot server where you can't trade with anyone, a feature I almost never use anyway. Increased mesa drop rates and your class-specific item drops and monsters with higher stats and better XP rewards. I would probably consider MapleStory one of the more valuable MMOs that is currently available to us simply because of the high amount of content, world building and story it has. Even after the Big Bang update back in 2010, the game world is still massive. Sure, there are 3D MMORPGs that have more land, so to speak, but they tend to have less to do within that land. MapleStory looks graphically cute, colorful, and bright. The developers have put considerable effort into making this art style. It's consistent and looks great. It's probably the best 2D MMO I have played to date, and as I said before, probably one of the most valuable MMOs in the MMO market. Next MMO to look at is Blade and Soul, a masterpiece in design and storytelling, probably one of the highest production qualities I have encountered in MMOs so far. Unfortunately, the story writing part fell off after Jinjuyon's arc, quite a bit in terms of the localization and translation. Even voice acting is partly missing in a lot of places for some reason. The story is still understandable. The game also includes a lot of dungeons, which vary in difficulty and length. They add new dungeons at a fair pace to give us more things to do. Each zone has a world boss in it who everyone can fight even without creating a party and still get rewarded for it. There is a dungeon finder system which allows you to select 3 dungeons you want to go into at a time. As far as I'm concerned, automated dungeon finders are a must in an MMO. It decreases the spam in global or regional chats where someone just repeats LF healer or LFG insert dungeon name here, making chat windows cleaner, but also allows people to keep the action going with less downtime. Some older MMOs tried a regular party finder, where you had to put yourself in queue and wait for others to invite you based on your class. That was slower and more inconvenient than an automated system. I think Blade and Soul's main content is based around daily quests and dungeons, because those tend to be the ones getting added in most updates. There are a lot of daily quests to do, and in my opinion they are fun, even if you do the same ones every day. You do have a choice and can do different ones on this or that day though. Each of the game's classes feel unique. You just want to play all of them, unless you only like a certain style. Blade and Soul looks good, plays well with its action hotkey hybrid style, which focuses more on hotkeys once again. Although looking at enemy animations is still very important, I just hope they keep adding to the game regularly. This is another one of my favorite MMOs of all time, next to MapleStory. Last MMO to make it to the top list, just barely, is Twin Saga. I was thinking about whether to include it here or not, because there was a massive update gap near the beginning of 2017. They have since learned and now have scheduled updates every second month. It's better to give out small but frequent updates than larger updates that take half a year to put together. If you do have a delay or a gap, then it's good to let people know about it. Twin Saga is an amazing and anime-inspired MMORPG with a colorful aesthetic and lovely bright art style. It has a hotkey-based gameplay, but it's designed in such a way that it feels like an action hotkey hybrid, even though it is not. This is one of those MMOs which has every class on the same character, and you can level them up on their own. The downside of Twin Saga's system is that there is no reason to level up multiple classes. Unlike the developer's other game, Eden Eternal, you don't gain anything for leveling all classes over someone who levels only 1 or 2, and as such there is less class depth compared to Eden Eternal. Twin Saga also includes a lot of dungeons you can do. There are a few in every zone in the game, and new ones get added in every update. I know that dungeon content is easier to implement than creating whole new zones with new story, but dungeons are fun to do repeatedly, so I'm all for adding a ton of dungeons before new story as long as the dungeons are designed well. And in Twin Saga's case they definitely are, up to level 60. There is an enjoyable storyline with plenty of humor and dark subjects. You can also gain companions called Senshi, who are powerful beings from Sanctopolis. You get an introduction to them via their personal quest line. New ones get added every 2 months. This is currently it for top MMOs that I played in 2017. I didn't focus on a lot of new MMOs that year and mostly went back to old ones or tried to continue the ones I have already played. As far as channel playthroughs go, I hope to start finishing MMO content within 2018. There are so many MMOs I want to play that I haven't been able to yet. However, I do have a few honorable mentions. 3 of these MMOs have shut down, so I'll mention these first. First one is Hero Wars. Or should I say Wars? Hero Wars is the one MMO that I managed to play through fully on the channel, so you can at least see the story. This game was temporarily shut down on 26th of March 2017 for further development. Unfortunately, that temporary shutdown turned into a permanent one around October 2017, because the original Korean version of the game shut down. It was a fun little game with nice character when it came to sound effects and voices of each character you played as. There was plenty of potential, but it was never really fully explored.
Unbelievable! Divine!
Second game is Dragon Hunter, a bright and colorful fun anime-inspired MMORPG with an action hotkey hybrid combat. This one unfortunately also had animations that you couldn't cancel, but they made animations shorter than most other games in this subgenre, so it isn't as much of a problem as in other games. This one was shut down on 29th of June 2017 due to a low player base. I myself loved the story and the amount of little short dungeons it had. There was a lot of replayability available there. And also never forget the hop-alongs. Third game has to be Marvel Heroes Omega, which shut down on 27th of November 2017. Diablo-style MMOs are rare, and this was one of the best of them. The game had a huge amount of variety in the form of dozens of different characters, who actually did come with varied abilities or gameplay styles. The game also included a fairly interesting story, and it wasn't extremely story-based. You had enough freedom between the story segments to do whatever you wanted. It also had an insanely high progression ceiling, which is always great to see for me. I love the genre, and together with the MMO structure it's perfect as this game showed. But unfortunately I wasn't able to enjoy it for very long. Unlike some of the vocal community, I loved the addition of the Omega Prestige system. Last MMO of the year is Closers Online, which is a dungeon crawler that released in 2017 for us. This is a side-scroller that doesn't quite play like a regular side-scroller. It's also one of the games where you have a differently written storyline for each character, making it more interesting to play through the game multiple times. I haven't played it enough yet, but I think it has potential to become one of my top games. I hope they keep adding to it and supporting it, and it might very well be in the top list of 2018. A little side note before the end. Eden Eternal isn't in this list because the game is content complete and hasn't received updates for years. For an MMO, that isn't good. However, I still really do like the game itself. This is it for the MMO list of 2017. The list is really late and I'm sorry about that. I'll try to be better with 2018 lists. If there is anything I missed, then please do let me know. Do you also know any other MMOs I should try out in the future that in your opinion would fit into this top list? What were your best MMOs of 2017?